Prophet Marchello, Currence. So this video is going to be about when the Americans lacked humanity through gang stalking. Then the needs of their humanity is not going to be acknowledged. It's no secret that it's the righteous Africans against the wicked Africans. It's the righteous Africans against the wicked Africans. See, if you don't understand this concept or this war, as far as I go, you're gonna think this is a war of where I'm just a sellout. It's as simple as I'm selling out against black people. Man, come on, that ain't even considered in this situation. That's not even thought about in this situation. I'm not even thinking about black people as a situation. It's what it is. It's the righteous Africans against the wicked Africans. And if you're white and you don't understand this, you're going to take the side of the people that's closest to you. That's what you're going to do. You're going to take the side of the culture people, which is the wicked Africans. Most of the culture is wicked. Between the homosexuality, the drugs, the killing, the crime, that's the wicked Africans. So for white Americans and other ethnicities here in America, you're going to go with the closest things that you see on TV, on the internet. Many of you that are white or different races outside of being black, you have never even met righteous Africans. I didn't say church people. Righteous Africans. Y'all haven't even met righteous Africans. No, hold on. Let's slow down right there. Y'all ain't even met no righteous Africans. You haven't even seen our worldviews to say, okay, that's a righteous African. Many black people haven't even met righteous Africans. And so when it looks like the lies that they're telling you, that I'm against black people or something to that effect, I'm against they people, etc., etc., what you're witnessing is the righteous Africans against the wicked Africans, and they know exactly why there's smoke, and they know why I smoke. They know why. They know why I smoke out here in these streets. Okay, so then you know by now, don't you? Okay, so now you have to change your opinion. It was never about me being no sellout. Let's ponder that. No, because that's what you started out thinking as black people. You started out thinking basically I was a sellout. See, if I don't update everybody to what they was thinking before and update it to what it is now, then you ain't gonna acknowledge your liabilities and flaws and where you went wrong. You're not gonna acknowledge it. You're just gonna look at me and listen to what I'm saying and saying I'm right. No, we want to take you back, right? Where you thought I was a sellout. We want to take you back where black people thought I was a sellout and white people thought I was a sellout. What you think now? How you feel now? How you see me now? You think I'm a sellout? Do you think I'm even worried about a particular group of people? As a man of God, I don't think about one race of people. I consider my race in America. I know I'm black in America. I know I have to consider being black in America. But do I sit up and ponder as a pro-black person? No, I do not. I cover my situation and what it is. And so you might have confused me with a pro-black person, or you thought I was eventually going to accelerate to a pro-black type of person. No, I'm going to accelerate as a righteous African. this war that's been going on is, this is important with this message, because for me, it was mostly African Americans. Okay? And they will not acknowledge it like it is. They intentionally sent people to me to harm me on purpose. More than on many various occasions, different types of harm. They sent a lot of people to me, right? So I have to acknowledge that position for what it is. It's not a position of outing a sellout. You played a wicked position, and you're going to be seen as the wicked, although you may be black, because a lot of people paint black people as angels. All black people are not angels. Okay? You know, you got people like that. I don't see all black people as no angels. I don't see no particular race of people as angelic, the whole thing. I do not see no group of people as totally angelic. Let's ponder that. Is all black people angelic to you? Is all these Hispanic and Latinos angelic to you? This is not an extreme. It's putting everything. This is putting it in its proper context. They're humans. How is that an extreme for me pointing out that they're human, putting everything in the proper context? That they're not angelic, right? Right, which means they're capable of evil. They're capable of doing wrong. They're capable of doing wrong to me, right? And that's what happened. Now you come back to this particular worldview that they're like angels and they're the persecuted people. You see what I'm saying? And this actually influences your worldview of black people, Hispanic and Latinos, and white Americans. They can do no wrong in your sight. For some people, black people can't do no wrong in your sight. For some people, Hispanic and Latinos can't do no wrong in your sight. It don't matter what it is. Okay? And see, so you got to check yourself. Am I biased towards black people? Am I going to ride with black people whether they right or wrong? See, once we realize that, we can't make you a righteous judge. We can't make you a judge, because really, you're going to ride with white people or black people or Hispanic and Latinos regardless. So I'm going to just cut to the chase, right? And realize that, you know, either way, you're going to be with them anyway. That's why you're going to defend them from the beginning, and you're going to defend them to the end. See, some people think that if I tell them the right information, they're not going to defend them to the end. Yes, they are. Now, I want you to ponder this. This war between the righteous Africans and the wicked Africans. Many of these white women and white people are going to be with them regardless. They ain't going to come be with you. For what? They not righteous. They going to find more camaraderie with them. They going to find more camaraderie. They going to see them more as their comrades. These African American, wicked African Americans, they gonna see them more as their comrades than me and you. So then at the end of the day, ultimately, man, they gonna set their situation up to still have camaraderie between them and the wicked Africans. I'm just showing you not to waste your time trying to convince these people that you're not a sellout, because even if they find out you're not a sellout, they still gonna stand with the wicked Africans. They ain't gonna come over here and live the lifestyle you live. I'm living. Right or wrong? Okay, so then you gonna totally be on my side and then have no camaraderie with the people that live the same lifestyle as you? You're gonna lose all camaraderie with them and side with me. You're not gonna do that. You're not gonna do that. What you're gonna do is you're gonna look for a reason. You're going to look for a problem. You're going to look for a fault in me until you think you found it, right? And you're going to side with them, rain, sun, or shine. You're going to be with them, rain, sun, or shine. So I'm not stupid enough to think, well, with all this information, see, this is a new season. Right here is a shift where it's a new season where we're no longer trying to convince these white Americans and these white women that really we ain't no sellout and these wicked Africans are ratchet. That's really the truth. They think they bad. That's really the truth. It ain't that nobody's a sellout. It ain't that somebody got something against them or got it out for them or anything like that. They came out here on all this shaky information that they couldn't prove. They got ratchet. They thought they was bad. The end. That's what happened. In a nutshell, that's basically what happened. And we ain't gonna allow them to paint no different narrative. Ain't nobody no sellout. They played with me first. How I'm a sellout and they play with me first? Make it make sense, man. See, I defended myself, and through defending myself, I was considered a sellout just from defending myself. Okay, so now we clearing the air, right? There's no sellout here, right? Now, because them and other people with the gang stalkers lacked humanity, now their humanity will not be acknowledged. I'm telling you this as a prophet. Their humanity is not going to be acknowledged. It's not because we jealous of them. It's not because we hating on them. It's not because we are racist. It's rules and regulations. And some people might not feel that because, it's one person or a group of people that we all gonna suffer, but God, right? He decides that these people will suffer. And I can take you to the Bible. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you some homework. Go to the Bible where God made whole tribes of people to suffer. Because that's basically what I'm going to start talking about moving into 2027. I'm going to start talking about how God is going to make whole groups of tribes of people suffer. You can already tell it's the end of days. How you think black people ain't going to suffer and it's the last days? How you think they ain't going to come under judgment for all this stuff you see and it's the final hour? Get ready for it. It's coming. And it's going to come to Hispanic and Latinos too. And it's going to come last but not least, it's going to come to white people too. Last but not least, it's going to come to white people. It's coming. Get ready for it. Get ready for it. Because you're trying as a community to get out of this without paying the price, without paying the proper liabilities. And I can't help you do that. I can't help nobody but myself. I gotta help myself. How about that? I gotta help myself this time. When these people played in my face, I gotta help myself this time, right? Because it shouldn't have been done. And I know the energy behind it. The energy behind it is, we bad, we tough, ain't nobody gonna play with us. That's the energy, if you don't know it. But see, that done ran its course. This we bad attitude done ran its course. It's been going on too long. And now that done ran its course. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. Ain't nobody trying to hear, we feel like this person is this, we feel like this person is that. You know what I'm saying? We undefeated. We ain't nobody gonna try us. Ain't nobody gonna try our people. Ain't nobody trying to hear that. You came out here on ratchet time. You came out here on ratchet time, right? And then try to polish a turd. You try to polish doo-doo after you came out here on ratchet time. That's it. That's all. They came out here on ratchet time, right? They came out here on ratchet time. Now they're trying to polish up a turd, and this is where the game come in with black people. You gotta understand game. You know what I'm saying? I have to say it to white people, I have to say it to Hispanic and Latinos, man, because black people got plenty of game. You know what I'm saying? They'll come out here and play it like, you know what I'm saying, like I'm the liable person. First of all, they play with me. How I'm liable? See all the narratives they painted. You got played. They used the game on you. They use psychological game on you, and I'm black myself, and they can't run no game on me. I know you came out here first, right? Then you don't get to critique how I handle myself, or how I separate from them, or how I despise them, or whatever. You don't have if you wrong me to the extent that you wronged me, which we know you did. How you gonna critique how I come out here? How you gonna critique how I move out here? That's all I'm saying. I'm kicking the real. Listen, man. If your mind is stuck on stupid, you can't get past how you see me, right? I can't help you if you stuck on stupid, right? They played with me too long, and that's the other dynamic. They played too long as a community. And if you take it personal, listen, you're going to get lost in the fog. You're going to get lost in the fog of the whole situation. It's never personal. It's never personal, man. How is it personal when I don't know half of them personally? That's what I like to say. How is it personal, but I don't know them personally? It's personal as far as me being offended. It's personal for me, but it's not personal for them, if that makes sense. I don't know them personally. So how is it personal? If I don't know you, how is it personal? Think about what I'm saying. You know what I mean? How is it personal? I don't know you. Make it make sense, man. Listen. The truth is, I'm going to tell you what the truth is. What the truth is you put all these dynamics of Africanness, African history, how we move as Africans, and the truth is, I ain't even all the way totally African. I'm more than half African, which means I couldn't be considered biracial. Biracial is cut in the middle. Technically, I'm 52% Nigerian. That's more than half. Let's review. 50% is cut in half. I'm more than half Nigerian. So I'm more Nigerian than anything else. That's my DNA. I did my DNA, right? Okay, so you couldn't even consider me biracial. Let's just clear the air on this. Let's clear the air on that. Because they got me lined up like, I'm biracial. If I was, I would be. But I'm what I consider exotic. Exotic, which is many different bloodlines, a whole bunch of different bloodlines. I'm considered exotic. But biracial I would be 50% this, 50% that. It will weigh like that. In other words, it will weigh like that. My DNA don't weigh like that. I'm more than half Nigerian, 52%. Okay? 52% Nigerian. Okay, so that's more than half. If it's more than half, that's what you are. If you're more than half Nigerian, then you're Nigerian with some more bloodlines added to it, right? That's what it is. So now you know, now you can see me for who I am, right? So let's stop acting like these black people over here is more African than me, right? Let's stop acting like they got some special African power that I don't have. Let's stop acting like they got some kind of special African persona that I don't have. Like they be trying these other people and no disrespect, they be trying these biracial people and these other people. Let's stop acting like I'm one of them type of dudes that you gonna show me that you more African than me, right? Let's stop playing ourselves, right? I'm just as African as you. I can prove that with DNA. We don't even know if you African or not. How we know? Why? Because you got a complexion. I can show you dark complexion people from all different races of people. How we know you African? I can prove I'm African. How can you prove it? You can prove it. Let's don't play games. This DNA stuff is real. It works. It's solid. It's real. Okay, so you don't really know if you're African. I do. So who you think is more high ranking? Me or them? That's these African people. Who's more high ranking? Someone who knows who they are, or people who assume they know out there? All across America. They ain't even know if they was African. How they know? I can tell you exactly what I am. I'm 52% Nigerian. What are they? Ain't no sellout, man. You just used to that narrative. What it is, man, is I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is and how you need to hear it. It's a war between the righteous Africans and the wicked Africans. That's what it is. That's what it is. Them using hoodoo, voodoo, and obia like I'm stupid. And Europa. Okay? Europa, hoodoo, voodoo, and obia. Them 4 different types of witchcraft that they use. Oh, I know they done tried everything, but I already covered everything. I've been fasting against all this type of witchcraft. But I ain't gonna let you play me like I'm some person like, oh, he ain't even part of that. He ain't even totally African, man. That's what made you corny, man. How you even know? I told you who I am. Listen, I'm 52% Nigerian. What are you? As you say you African. Okay, well, can you explain it intelligently? I can. I can explain exactly my bloodlines intelligently. And you still can't. You're yet to do it. You're yet to do it, aren't you? That's what we're talking about, buddy. That's 7 out. You're yet to do it. And you mad at me? Listen, you should feel like it's a constructive criticism challenge where you go and find out who you are. If that's really where you at. I mean, really, if you was really pro-black, you should be more focused on finding out who you are. You shouldn't even be. You should be less offended and more focused on finding out who you are when I talk about this issue. See what I mean? Look, man. Look, you had me lined up like I was a bummer clock, and to all of y'all that do not follow Jesus, you're a bummer clock to Jesus. We're all bummer clocks to Jesus. You realize that? We're all bummer clots to Jesus. You ain't a bummer clot to Jesus. Yes, you are. I don't care what you do, how you move, how much money you got. You're a bummer clot to Jesus. Okay? So we getting past all the African paraphernalia. All these people thinking they blacker than you. They got hang-ups like they blacker than you. They more African than you. They can't even explain it more intelligently than you. Well, explain how you African. I can explain it. I'm 52% Nigerian. That's my African. That's me explaining African. Now you explain you being African. You can't explain it, can you? That's what we talking about, buddy. That's what we talking about. It's that simple. It's that simple. I don't really know if you're African. How I know? I don't assume to know anything. I don't really know. But we do know when I take a DNA test. We do know when I can prove it and pull up numbers and show you. I'm this percentage of this percentage of that. I can show you. Okay? And see, that's where I start to outrank these people who got this African superiority complex, on this chip on their shoulder about being blacker than other people, but they can't even talk about it intelligently. They ain't even check their DNA. They don't even know how black they really are. How we know you black? You could be something else. You with a dark complexion. How we know? And that's real though. That's real. How we know you ain't a Pacific Islander community? That's real. Man, listen, man. These days it's time to pull up with numbers. How we know you ain't a Pacific Islander? You could be a Pacific Islander, bro. I just want listen. I'm challenging y'all to go check your DNA and prove it and pull up and prove it and pull up and prove it. Prove it and pull up. You can't do it. You know what I'm saying? I can do it. I just did it. I showed you. I'm 52% Nigerian. Now tell me what you are. So if you talk to other African people, you know what they're going to ask you? The first thing they're going to ask you, I know you're African American. This is what they're going to ask you in Africa. What tribe of African do you come from? What country of African do your bloodlines come from? You can't even tell them. You couldn't even have the first initial conversation with other Africans. You couldn't even have the initial conversation, but you walk around here like y'all blacker than me, man. Stop playing, bro. That's how you outrank people, bro. You know what I'm saying? You so pro-black. Why you ain't took time to pay and get your DNA checked? We don't know what your DNA is doing. We don't know. I do know. And that's the difference between me and you. I gotta say that before we get started. Oh, that matters to the best. That matters to the best. We talking about the best. We talking about world-class community. We talking about the world-class community. If the prophet knows who he is, but you stuck on being black and black this and black that, and the world class community, the elite community is looking and watching, when we know they are, right? Who they going to esteem is more high ranking? The person that ain't even harping on it all like that, but he know what type of African he is and all of that. And these people over here don't know none of that. They don't know none of that. They don't know what type of African they are. But so then the elite, the world class community is gonna look at it like I outrank them people. I don't care what they doing. I don't care how they do it. See, you thought I was behind, and I'm not. I'm not behind. You think you outrank me? How? You don't even know what type of African you are, bro. You don't. What? Talk about it intelligently. How we know? Listen, man. This is a war between the righteous Africans and the wicked Africans. And you don't even know what type of African you are. Half of these wicked Africans don't even know. I know as a righteous African what type of African I am. That's all I'm saying, man. That matters to the big dogs. That matters to the grown men. That matters to the world class, elite, highbrows, master students, senseis. We're talking about senseis now. A sensei is going to look at you like, okay, what type of African are you? So we can sharpen your skills according to what tribe of Africa you come from. What type of African are you? So I can feed you information based on your tribe that you come from. That's what a sensei gonna say. What kind of African are you? You don't know, do you? And that's what we talking about, buddy. That's all I'm talking about, man. That's all I'm talking about. So listen, you can't change that reality. You can't be half low quality, then playing with a prophet, playing with the senseis, but you think through the psychological foolishness you're going to manipulate and be on our levels. It ain't going to work. You're going to have to do everything we do and better to beat us. Not just do what we do. You got to do it better. See, this is the real mastery. Not that ratchet foolishness. That's done. We beat that anyway. Now we're talking about the elite, high class. Don't you want to see a high class, world class war? I mean, you know what I mean. Don't you rather see that kind of challenge than these ratchet people don't even know where they come from? And I done beat them a million times. I'm sitting up here talking about all this information. Now you want to see chess being played. You want to see chess being played. How you going to see it? How you going to see it when they ratchet? How you going to see it when they don't even know who they are? This is what matters to the masters, to the senseis. This matters. Can't take me as a joke. Can't. Now, humility, the humanity of these people is no longer acknowledged in America. That gang stalked God's people. Now we're beyond talking about just black people. We talking about the humanity. But we don't exclude them though, because we know they played with the prophet. They played with me, right? Okay, so we don't exclude them, but we're not just talking to them. We're talking to everyone. Now, that gang stalked the prophet, that gang stalked God's people. Your humanity that you want people to see is no longer acknowledged. We don't acknowledge your humanity because you did not have humanity. See, this is what happens. I can show you how this happens legally. If you do a crime where you kill a whole bunch of people, or you destroy a whole bunch of people here in America, because you lacked humanity, your humanity will not be acknowledged when you get sentenced. Your needs as a human being will not be acknowledged. You can do stuff so bad in this country. Listen to this very closely. You can do stuff so bad in the world that your humanity is no longer acknowledged. And if you're not smart, you will let these same bozos come out here and try to get them they'll try to get you to acknowledge their humanity when we don't supposed to acknowledge it no more. So let's review. Bozos will come out here and try to get us to acknowledge their humanity when they had no humanity and all the stuff that they did. You see how their karma works? If you had no humanity, why should I acknowledge it now? You ain't have it before, but now you want to put it on a silver platter and tell us how you have human needs and your human needs as your humanity, as your community, as humanity, and the needs of your community as humanity. Now you want to go through your needs. Now you want to go through your necessities. But you lacked humanity. You lacked humanity before. You lacked humanity. You didn't show no signs of being human beings out here gang stalking people from coast to coast, from state to state, from country to country. You've been out here gang stalking, and now you want people to acknowledge your humanity. This message is about when you lack humanity as a community of gang stalkers, we will not acknowledge your humanity and how we judge you. That's how this has to go. See, this is proper judgment besides, these feelings, these fleeting feelings we can have for people about how they sound, how they move. You start looking at their humanity. You start looking at them as a human being, but you don't supposed to do that. You know what you're supposed to do? You're supposed to judge it based on the lack of humanity that they had initially. You're supposed to keep them right there. You're supposed to keep them right where they lacked humanity. That's how you're supposed to see them, right there. And that's how you judge them and what they're gonna get and what they're not gonna get. What you let them do is come in and lack humanity. You see why I did this message? They lack humanity, right? With the gang stalking, running all around, trying to be tough to the community, trying to look tough to the community. See, it looks good on paper until you get the bill, until you realize, okay, it feels good to look like this to the community. But not even the streets can move like that without any repercussions. You ask any tough guy, you ask any head honcho, can he move like that and go out in the streets and move like that? Ask any head honcho, can he move like that in the streets? And nothing happens. Absolutely nothing happens. That's fantasy for you to think about that. For you to think that you can come out here and lack humanity and act like savages, right? You see what I mean? Acting like savages and nothing's supposed to happen. Come on, man. Listen, that's not even reasonable, man. That's not reasonable. And you know it. You got to stop letting people play on your intelligence. I'm telling you, listen, man, this is for the whole American community. You got to stop letting people play on your intelligence. They came out here with no humanity. Let's slow down, man. Let's slow down. How long you been gang stalked? For everybody that's been gang stalked, I'm putting you in the right spirit. See, there's American Christians that will tell you I'm not in the right spirit. Oh, yes, I am. See, they didn't realize it's a righteous war. It's a holy war going on. Not in the name of Islam, not in the name of jihads and all of that. No, this is a righteous war with God's true people. Yes, and it doesn't go away because of some fleeting emotions or fleeting feelings against these people out here in the community. We don't change, our position. Once you go into war, you do not change until your objective is accomplished. That's why you have to declare war. This ain't 2004 Christianity where you declare war and you got these little steps and then no, this is 2026 Christianity, where you come in and you declare war, and now you do not change your posture towards the people you declare war towards. You don't change your posture. God ain't gonna have you walking in some love walk and you declare war. This is real war. right? Once you declare real war, you do not stop in spiritual warfare with fasting and giving offerings until your objective is accomplished. See, many of your teachers here in America, man, they are not up to date because they ain't getting gang stalked. They ain't in the real energy of the real world that we in. They still on that 2004 Christianity. And all I'm trying to do is update you. You know things gonna change in 22 years later from 2004. Many of you that was Christians in 2004, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You know exactly the kind of energy that you got from Christian messages and Christian ministries and Christian community on TV and all of that. That time is gone. It's gone. I mean, if you look at even TBN, the Christian channel TBN, Paul Crouch is gone. Rest in peace, Paul Crouch. And Jan Crouch is gone. Rest in peace, Jan Crouch. They provided beautiful Christian TV for us in the early millennium, right? But that time and season is gone, right? Daystar, you look at Daystar, Marcus Lamb is gone. That's the two major Christian television networks and the Word Network. Some probably happened there. I'm gonna go look. Something probably happened there too. Times have changed, literally. I know it's almost cliche to say that, but the war has changed is what needs to be understood, because now you have new generations. Look at it for what it is. 2004 to 2026. Now you got people that was born that year in Christianity that are now 22 years old out here running the streets doing crimes and everything. They don't think nothing like we think. A child that was born in 2004 and raised up to the present time to be 22 years old now, right? They don't think nothing like us. They think Christians are their enemies. I'm just showing you the real. They think that they hate Christians. They try to use witchcraft against Christians. They play psychological games against Christians. And they have older people in America that's joined a younger mentality. That's how you have to understand it. It's the young people that's leading the pack as far as worldviews and mentality. Of course it is, because how we know the older generations always had respect for Christians, even if they was using witchcraft back in the day. Even if you was, I mean, look at Marie Laveau, the queen of voodoo. She went to mass every day. She ain't had no smoke with no Christians. That's the new generation of American Christians. The queen of voodoo, which is Marie Laveau, had no problem with Christians. How we know? She used to go to mass every day. That's the legend about her. I'm showing you that the darkest people, the most highest ranking, which she outranks still all these people because they got more distractions. That's why they don't rank as high in their voodoo as she do, or she did, because they got too many distractions these days. You know, all this social media stuff, they ain't gonna focus on no craft like that. See, I can show you, but you can't show me. I can talk all about these people out here using this witchcraft and some core things what it consists of. And most of these people that use witchcraft, they're not focused enough to even be near half the rank that Marie Laveau was. They can't. But my point is, she wasn't against Christians per se. She wasn't. I want you to ponder that, because now you got a corny generation of witchcraft people that are influenced by Hollywood to think in terms of good versus evil in this situation, that are out here influencing the whole war that is against us. It's young people. It's not old people. How we know? Because old people used to show a certain amount of respect to Christians. So a smart man realizes, a smart sensei realizes it has to be younger generations why this stuff's starting to happen, where they started to target Christians and hate Christians and all of that, you know. And it's a younger generation that is influencing the older people. They're following behind them. So people that's 22, 23, 25, they're influencing, as far as these secret society people that's 50 years old or better. That's what's going on, man. That's what's going on. So we're not going to acknowledge their humanity. If you do a bad crime in America, this is America, right? They can put you on death row. When you're on death row, that means your humanity is no longer acknowledged. Let's ponder that. Let's ponder that. If I put somebody on death row, that means your humanity, the needs of your humanity is no longer acknowledged. That means you've done something so horrific and hideous that we feel that you lacked humanity. So extreme to the extreme that we no longer acknowledge your humanity. We no longer acknowledge your human needs, your human necessities. That's all gone. And now, all that's left is to neutralize you as a target. This is the government. This is what the government got. Hundreds of people on death row right now. So I want you to know this is reality. I'm showing you death row is the perfect example of once you do certain things as humanity, if it's extreme, like the gang stalking is extreme, your humanity is no longer acknowledged. It's not, we don't acknowledge your humanity no more. So then only the simple people would go back past what you've done, right? And give you a nice sweet spot of acknowledgement of your humanity after you have lacked humanity to an extreme. And the prophet ain't gonna do that. So you see where you at? That's 7 out. That's where you at. You know where you at? Where we no longer acknowledge your humanity. We no longer acknowledge, if you have been out here, I want to tell you as a prophet, if you have been out here gang stalking as a community in America, we no longer acknowledge, just like somebody on death row. Just in case you ain't think I got a reference point, that's my foundational reference point. Just like somebody on death row, we do not acknowledge no longer your needs as humanity. You can do something in America that is so extreme that your humanity is no longer acknowledged. You want a perfect example? Death row. When whatever the person has done, where they wind up on death row, that means the Americans feel that you have done something so unreasonable. Not like the prophet where I'm defending myself, because no matter what you say as Americans about me, my foundation is I defended myself. That's what's going to put me in good standing with most people. But you, on the other hand, you came out here not defending yourself. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You was ratchet. You was ignorant. You was all about monkey business. You came out here on ratchet time monkey business, and everybody now know. And now you're trying to polish a turd and make it make sense, and it don't. Because you know why it don't? Because you came out here on ignorance. That's all it was. That's why it ain't working out. That's why when it get tried in the fire, what these Americans have done against me, when it's tried in the fire, it's burned to pieces. When you put me in the fire, I come out as pure gold. And the reason why is because my foundation is I defended myself. You didn't. You came out here on ratchet time. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And right there is what takes away more of your humanity. it takes away more of our care for your humanity. We don't longer care about your humanity when we know that basically you came out here on ratchet time, on savage time. You played around the prophet. Come on. You played around the prophet on savage time, this ignorant monkey business that we see in the culture. That's what you was on. And so white folks, I want you to realize this. I want you to understand something, man, that you're not understanding because you haven't been listening to the righteous Africans. These people came out here on ratchet time. I know you know what that is based on the internet. You know what ratchet, that's all it was. That's why they can't make it make sense. That's why they can't give it, that's why it can't gain no credibility. No matter what they do, what they've done cannot gain credibility. You know why? Because it never made sense. It was ratchet and ignorant it was monkey business from the beginning. How you gonna make it make sense then? You can't. That's why they had to build a case. That's why they had to keep studying me so they can try to project some type of liability to the community that came from me, right? They can't do it. So look, death row is a perfect example of how you can do something, even by American government standards, that will cause us as a collective community to no longer acknowledge your humanity. You think that's me? It's not, because they always gonna look at it like I defended myself. That's it. You're not me. You can't compare your situation as secret societies with me. No, Freemasons, Illuminati, you can't compare yourself to me. You came out here on ratchet time and everybody know it. You came out here on ratchet time, bruh. You came out here on ratchet time, right? Think about that. Think about it, bro. You came out here on ratchet time, everybody know. Ain't no way in the world you gonna act like me and you in a situation where it could be me die or you die. No, buddy, listen, I'm not in the same situation that you in. You listen, that's what make you a clown. In every situation, you a clown. Ain't no way in the world you could think me and you in the same situation. When you tried and played with me as a whole American community, how me and you in the same situation? Man, come on, man. I'm showing you blow for blow how I'm making you look like a clown, how you are a clown in reality, man. As Freemasons and Illuminati, them clowns. You can tell them I said it. You're clowns. You came on clown time. You ain't on demon time. I won't even give it that to you. You ain't on demon time. You on clown time. I was on the streets for 3 months. You could have did anything to me. Demon time, they would have wanted to fight and worse. That's demon time. You played clown games. I was on the streets in Charlotte for 3 months and you ain't do nothing. That's what I want the whole American and global community to look at. I was on the streets for 3 months. They was in my footsteps. They knew when I was out at nighttime and everything. Why they ain't do nothing? You don't think God is looking at that? How much of a coward these communities of Freemasons and Illuminati is? You was out here. You was out here with me. Why you ain't do nothing? Listen, man. Let me tell you something. Even though you didn't do nothing, we know you're a coward. You still did other stuff that make us just don't even acknowledge your humanity. You play with this whole community. We do not acknowledge your humanity. So, let's review. If you don't think that it's any reason why you should die, you destroyed the community. And we're smart enough to know you did, right? So all it takes is the smart people to be able to enforce on you where we know we're right about you. You came out here playing with the prophet. You came out here playing with Christians. You played yourself. You came out here and you did stuff that and you acted like an animal. You lacked humanity, and then you want us to have humanity for you as a community. It don't work like that, buddy, in the real world. It don't work like that in the real world. You shouldn't have came out here. You shouldn't have came out here on clown time, cartoon time, and then thought you was gonna be able to get away with everything you did, and we would still acknowledge your humanity. Nope, we don't acknowledge your humanity. All you can do is finesse these stupid people. When it comes to me, I'm gonna hold you right there, and we're not gonna acknowledge your humanity. That's where you at. See, that's what happens when you play out here in the field, right? Like I like to say, you play in the field as in the streets, the hood, the jungle. You know, you play out here in the field, and this is what you get when you do. Ain't nobody can do it. Not even the streets. The streets can't even play with the streets like that. No. It's just a matter of time. Ain't no street people can come out here playing with the people like here out here in the community like that, man. And what if for whatever reason, whether that name of that group, that Illuminati stuff, put a battery in your back, just the name of that group. Some people so corny like that, it probably was just the name of the group. Man, we don't care about that name of no group. You came out here on clown time, cartoon time, and you played yourself. Now, guess what? We don't even acknowledge your humanity. Don't even bother bringing it up. What you done as a human, who you are as human beings, because you showed no sign of humanity, and that's what we gonna look at right there. If you were so much of a human being, why we catch you looking like an animal? Why we seen y'all preying on people like you're animals? But then you want to turn around and act like a human, like you're so sophisticated and cultured, and we're just young people that want to live and all of that. But then we're gonna point back to when you lacked humanity. And I can show you your own government. I can show you your own government will take your life to the grave. If you lack humanity significantly, they will not acknowledge your humanity any longer, and they'll take you straight to the grave. That's the government. They done it. They put people in the grave. Right? That's what rap don't tell you. Hip hop don't tell you. You do something extreme, buddy, they'll put you in the grave. The government, that's the government. They might arrest you and then put you in the grave. You can't do that. Now you see the real world we live in, buddy. You can't come in. That's what you need to hear, because that's the first thing a lame is not gonna realize. What's gonna happen for your actions of coming out here doing crazy stuff and doing crimes? A lame ain't gonna know what's gonna happen. A veteran know exactly what's going to happen. You're going to be denied of your humanity. That's what's going to happen. I don't care where you come from, what street and what community you come from. You can't come out here doing anything. The state will kill you. Whatever state you in will kill you. In other words, the state will put you to death if you do something crazy enough out here. Let's review that. We don't care what city you live in. You can live in Compton. You can live in Little Haiti in Miami. You can live in Brooklyn. You can live wherever you want to live, bro. You can live wherever you want to live. You can live in Chicago. You can live in Dallas, Houston, wherever you want to live. St. Louis. And if you do something bad enough, the real veterans know them people. Listen, they'll put you down, buddy, like a dog, like a rabid dog. They'll put you down. You won't do life in prison. They'll kill you. They'll put you on death row, and they will not no longer acknowledge your rights as a human. That will be denied. A negative. No longer acknowledged. So that's the government. You don't think God would do that, will you? Listen, that's it right there. That's 7 out. You think God will acknowledge your humanity no matter what you do? That's it right there. Yeah, that's it. Listen, that's the punchline. You think God will just let you do what you want to do and act like an animal out here and do all this stuff and act like you savages and all of that, and get the feeling of being a savage and all of that, and all to the community, act like you bad and all of that, and then you don't think God. You think God is going to still acknowledge your humanity. No, he not, buddy. See, what you need to realize is, man, while you was playing the clown game, everybody else was on something else. That's what make you a clown. You didn't realize everybody on something else. How we was thinking, we was on something else. You was on clown time. You thought we was connected to the way you was thinking, because you used to controlling people with that foolishness, right? Man, we was in a whole nother world. The whole time I was in a whole nother world. I wasn't thinking. You couldn't pull me into that world of how you think. That's how I won. I was in a whole nother world giving offerings, I say humbly, fasting. Now you take it seriously every time I fast. Now you take it seriously every time I give an offering. Every time I give a church offering, now you take it seriously. At first you didn't. 3 years ago, I can take you back 3 years ago where you didn't take it seriously. That's all we saying, bro. They ain't take it seriously. Now they do. It's too late. It's too late for that, man. Listen, your needs as humanity is now being denied. Your humanity is being denied of its necessities and needs. No one cares anymore. And I can show you how the state will do that, and I know God will do that. You can't, listen, you can't play out here for years and years. Think about that now. And think that God, you can just waltz to God. See, American Christians will teach you, if you just repent, you know what I believe? I believe this is my personal belief. If you was gang stalking for 20 years, 10 years, and you just decide one day, and with the extremity of that you just gonna, I'm gonna just repent. I'm gonna verbally repent. Let's just stay on the verbal part. I'm gonna just verbally, because American Christians teach that a lot. I can just verbally repent, and all I've done to God's people, all I've done to the prophet, all I've done to these other Christians, all I've done to these pastors and leaders that nobody's aware of, I'm aware of it. You've been gang stalking preachers in America. You've been gang stalking pastors with churches in America, and I know about it. You know why I know? Because God reveals it to me. He lets me see the patterns, and he pulls the patterns together, and I know that you've been gang stalking pastors, preachers, and everything in between. It ain't no way in the world you just gonna waltz out of that and verbally repent and think God ain't gonna send you no test. If you do repent, he gonna send you a great test. I'm telling you that right now. Ain't no way in the world you gonna just come out of that like that. Now see, that's even repenting. That's even repenting. You cannot come out here and play games for years and then try to talk about Paul. Well, Paul persecuted the Christians. You're not Paul. You're not Paul. Okay? You gotta look at your situation and what you've been doing in its full entirety. That's what you got to do. You got to look at your situation in its full entirety, man. You know you've been playing out here for years and years and years. That's why it's all ending. God decided, a blind man could see that God decided to end this community. God decided to end this community, man. And if you're goofy on goofy time, you think, oh, well, God will just let it go. Oh, really? You think so? I don't think so, little buddy. I don't think so, amigo. What I think, I'm telling you this as a prophet, on my credibility. I think what you did as a community of Americans gang stalking, it shut down the whole community. God is shutting down this whole community. That's what I think. That's what I see. All this stuff going on, it ain't gonna get no better. It's starting to shut down. And I also believe that it didn't have to be like this. They made it, the Americans made it like this. And that's my personal belief. You ain't got to follow that. That's my personal belief. I believe it didn't have to be like this. Because I look at spiritual reciprocity. I look at reaping and sowing. If they would have did something differently, then we wouldn't be right here. The world gonna end, we know that. But there's people that have this faith mentality, F-A-T-E. Well, it would have happened anyway. This is our faith. No. Man can do things that bring judgment on whole nations and countries. You can go look at the Bible. You can go look in the Bible where a group of people in a country cause things to happen based on their actions. So you see how you got to look at the Bible in a realistic way, and you got to really pay attention, right? Because when you look at key communities that was judged by God, why did the whole nation of those people perish? You know why they perished? Because of their sins. It wasn't that it was just time and God just wanted to do it. It's something you can look in the Bible and see instances where it was the fault of the nation for why their nation was defeated. And I feel the same way with this situation with America. It didn't have to be like this. They brought that judgment on themselves. They brought what I call premature judgments. Judgments before the time of the final hours. They brought premature judgments, like a premature baby. They brought premature judgments. That's what happened. They brought premature judgments on the whole community. I don't think it would have been like this. No, I do not. No, I do not. This is the energy that's in the air is a result of that funky, stanking gang stalking they've been doing for over 10 years. I count 12 years for me for sure. Over 12 years of this funky, stanking gang stalking. And you think God gonna just let the world go on? No. I put that on my credibility. Listen, you ain't gonna never see me lust after these children. You ain't gonna never see nothing impure cross my mind. I know it's you. And if it's you, I'm just guarded to what you did the last time psychologically. So that's what you're seeing now, is what I'm guarded towards from the last time. That doesn't make me guilty. I can see something. I can see evil that you brought to my mind and not be incriminated by what I see. In other words, I can look on evil that you've done against me, psychological stuff, where you send stuff to our minds, right? Okay, I can look on those evils that you sent to my mind, and I not be liable with God. So just because I see it don't mean I'm guilty. Just because I bring it up in my mind don't mean I'm guilty. Because they create all type of psychological triggers on certain words, certain dynamics, certain images. I'm sure you go through it if you're high ranking, you go through that. And because you revisit those triggers mentally that they sent against you from the last time, it doesn't mean you're guilty. You can look, when you become high ranking, you can look on evil and uncleanliness that the Americans send to your mind like a doctor in the hospital. He can look on children without any impurities in his mind. A doctor can look on the vagina of a child and nothing crosses his mind. God has made his people so powerful, glory to his name, that we can look on any of these images, any of these things you accuse us of, and we can look at it as a doctor and be totally pure. I'm like a spiritual doctor. I can look on all this stuff that you send to me and I can be pure. So we ain't worried about that. Either way it go, I'm pure in the situation. God know I ain't thinking nothing crazy about no children, man. But you are. You marry children in this country. We gonna keep harping on it and harping on it and harping on it and harping on it. Just like you was out here harping on stuff that you knew nothing about me. Why wouldn't we harp on what you actually do, which we can prove in the full context and narrative that we're talking about it in, right? We can prove it in the full context and narrative that we're talking about it in. You couldn't do the same thing. That makes you incompetent as a whole American community. Listen, I proved to be competent in the same category. You talking about children? Okay, you're marrying children. Okay? You're marrying children. You can prove what you put me in the narrative of, the context of what you put me in. Let's stop playing, bro. Listen, I'm going to keep reminding you. It's not deception. Every time you play with me, even while I'm doing a video, you think I'm stupid, they attack the minds while we're doing videos. Yeah, they do. They attack us when we started. They attack us when we end the videos and everything in the middle of them videos. But I'm going to tell you something. We do not no longer, I want you to hear this as a prophet, from a prophet. We no longer acknowledge your humanity as gang stalkers. Nope. I'm not a Ned Flanders Christian. I'm not Ned Flanders from The Simpsons. Honk if you come into church with us. No. I'm mocking God. No, I don't mock God. I mock these weak images, these Simpson Ned Flanders images you think that I am made of. That's what we mock. These weak, unrealistic images of Christianity. These Ned Flanders images. Any Christian want to wake up and say, I'm Ned Flanders? Based on how he moved. Based on how Ned Flanders moved. Anybody take that image of Ned Flanders? We're marking these American images of what they think what a Christian is. Like Ned Flanders show us what Americans think Christians are. Not American Christians. What Americans think Christians are is Ned Flanders. You didn't think we could fight back. You didn't think we could fight into spiritual warfare. You didn't think we could. You didn't think we can go into spiritual war. You didn't think we was educated. You thought we was stupid. Found out you marrying children, man. Come on, listen. We no longer. You see how they on cartoon time, right? You thought I was Ned Flanders, right? You telling me you ain't on cartoon time? That's 7 hours. Listen, man, listen. We no longer acknowledge your humanity as far as these gang stalkers. I'm telling you this as a prophet. I no longer acknowledge your humanity. Just like somebody on death row. Nope. I don't have no compassion about. See, on death row, they ain't. All you can do is get your soul right. All you can do. That's all you can do. All you can do is get your soul right. Eat your favorite meals. You're going down, buddy. You know, your flesh is required. And you could be a Christian. You could not be a Christian. You do something bad enough in this community, physically, your flesh is required. You don't want to listen. You don't want to admit it. These gang stalkers' flesh is required. Oh yes, it is. Their flesh is required. Yeah. Now you're hearing me talk on my prophetic level, the spiritual level. Yeah. No religion. Listen, no Ned Flanders. Your flesh as gang stalkers is required. These Freemasons, these Illuminati members that are persistent, even following me here where I'm at now. Oh, they don't think I know. They all around in the atmosphere. I can hear them in the atmosphere. For you following me here, I'm telling you as a prophet, your flesh is required. It's no excuse. Even the streets gonna say, nah, this dude was way out the way. He went to his mom's house and everything. You know what I'm saying? He was totally out the way. You still followed this person. You still gang stalked him at the store, at the corner store. Oh yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. You gang stalked me right up here on Billy Graham and Queen City Drive, right there at the gas station, Exxon gas station. Oh, you didn't. You did. That ain't following me. Yes, it is. Your flesh is required, bro. That's it. Your flesh is required. And we no longer care, man. Listen. Your flesh is required, and we no longer care about your needs as humanity. So you ain't expect God's kingdom to be talking like this. See, you realize through this what we can be. We could be many things to you. We could be many different things to you, and I guarantee you most American people did not think that God's people could be this. You didn't think you could be this, what I am. Oh yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. You didn't think you could do this spiritually and be where I'm at. This is what it is. Their flesh is required. I'm telling you that as a prophet. Their flesh is required, bro. So listen, ain't no need to talk all this lovey-dovey kind of conversation and everything about me and all this emotional. See, a man that's ready to die or about to die, or a man or women that are about to die are going to become emotional. Their life is going to flash before them. Sometimes in the actual event of them losing their life before it happens or as it is happening. Or when they know death is pending, right? They're going to start going through the same thing like a person that's in the event about to lose their life. In the event of losing their life, they're going to go through the same emotional, you could even say emotional roller coaster where they're evaluating their life and how they doing, people and living and everything. A dead man gonna do that. A dying person gonna do that, right? Okay, we ain't gonna care about that. Just like somebody on death row, they probably gonna look at their life and see everything before their life. Why they're on death row doesn't matter. See, that's how precise you have to be as a judge. Let's review. They did this. How long they do this? They did this for over 12 years. You think I care about them being nice? That's what I'm showing. You see what I'm saying? I want you to place the years. That's why I got to do a video on this. The years is not emphasized by these same people. They ain't gonna tell you how many years. When you realize how many years this has been done, it is no mystery. It should be no mystery to you why we like this. Why we in the trenches like this. It shouldn't be no mystery to you why we in the spiritual trenches like this. They done played with you for 12 years. You don't understand why? Now, if you slow, you gonna leave that part out. You ain't gonna think about years. All that time matters more, just as much as what's being done. No, listen. The time that they have done this, the time, the duration of how long they've been doing this, it matters more than the actual. It matters just as much as what they have done, how long they did it. If you went to court and they found out you was doing this for over 12 years, you think that ain't gonna be considered and play a dynamic in the judgment that they prosecute the defendant on? They gonna judge him based on how long? 12 years? You been playing with the community? Come on, nah. I ain't gonna consider that. I am gonna consider that. So when you judge me and when you judge how I'm carrying myself, right? What I want you to think about is they've been playing with me for 12 years. Now you see the person I am. Now you see me for who I am. They played with me for 12 years. You think I care what these people out here saying and talking about? You think I care if these people think I'm full of hate or I'm you know what I'm saying? Listen, I take everything that come with it. I take everything that come with it when I got to do what I got to do. To these Americans out here, when they play with me for over 12 years and people don't halfway believe it anyway. Listen, man, listen. If they halfway believe it, you can't even have the real conversation anyway, man. You need to talk to people that understand. Like me, I understand they've been doing this for over 12 years for me. So if you went through it 10 years, I will understand why you like this. I ain't stupid like, oh, I don't know why he's like that. I don't know why he's like that. I don't know why he's like that. I know why I'm like this. 12 years of gang stalking. See, the clowns didn't realize so much time went by, right? So much time went by. They didn't realize that's the liability in itself, how long you did this stuff. So see, when they talk to the whole community, they ain't telling you how long they did it. They just telling you what it is and how it should just be let, and then you respond as the community, well, that should just be let go, and then none ain't really, all of this should just be let, after 12 years, it should just be let go. Now you see how much of a difference that makes. And what you feel should happen. After 12 years, man, come on, bro. It's not even reasonable for you to think that they could just walk away after 12 years of playing with me. You will let them do that to your family. You let them play with your family for 12 years and then just walk away. See, really, it's you that lack compassion. You know what compassion? You know what one of my informal definitions of compassion is? Compassion is the ability to put yourself in somebody else's shoes in any situation. That's how you have compassion. You're able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes. That's how you break it down. If I put myself in your shoes, you've been gangsta for over 12 years, right? I'ma understand. I'ma have compassion when I put myself in your shoes. These people play with you for over 12 years. I'm gonna put myself in your shoes. What if I went through that for 12 years? How would I feel? You see what I'm saying? When you put yourself in that situation, 12 years, man, everywhere you go. If I was in your situation for 12 years, how would I feel? That's how you begin to experience compassion. It's putting yourself in somebody else's shoes, literally. Put yourself in the timeline of what they went through. Why you talking about it should just all be let go and we all shouldn't have to suffer? 12 years. They played with people for 12 years in your country. Come to terms with it. That's what they did. They played with us for 12 years, and you think God just gonna let the world be open for service? Nope. Because they decided to not give us justice. Guess what? God just shut it down, man. You can't play with nobody. You can't play with a community. See, that's where the goofiness came in. That's where the corny part came in. They thought they could play with the community for 10 years, 12 years, and nothing would happen. And God was on my side. And God is on these other Christian side here in America. And throughout the world, God is on our side, man. And now it ain't funny no more. Now they ain't laughing no more. These gang stalkers is not laughing. You know why? Because they see the repercussions. That's why. They see these repercussions coming in. can't come out here playing with the community and think nothing ain't gonna happen to you. That's a fool. Sit up here and play in the community and think ain't nothing gonna happen to them. I don't know what make them think they that special. I ain't never even seen a Christian act like they that special. Anybody walk around like they that special, they can play with the whole community for 10, 12 years and nothing happens? I wouldn't even think that. If it was me, you know what time it is. You play with the whole community for 12 years? You play with me. Let's talk about, you play with me. You probably longer than that with the other people. They complained about way longer years than that. You came out here and played with me, man, for 12 years, man. Listen, man. Anybody that have compassion to put themselves in my shoes and what I went through for 12 years, and you play with other Christians, man, they accept it. Everybody accept it. It's over. It needs to be over. It needs to be. I don't know what made them think that they are that special where they could come out here and play with our community and nothing happens. That's how you know they ain't in the real world. Who gonna think like that? So we no longer acknowledge their humanity. That's the punchline. Nope. Anything you talking about with your family, anything you talking about with your life, we are no longer concerned about your humanity because you lacked humanity. You wasn't even walking around here acting like humanity. You was acting more like animals. Okay, so then why would we using your kids? I can show you how they was even using kids like it's a video game. They was using kids to play like they in a video game and run around stores and do. I'm telling you, I can't make this up, bro. I wouldn't lie to you, man. Some of the kids, not all of them. Some of them was like they programmed to act like they was in a video game and playing in a video game. Some of them probably was gamers, little gamer kids. Little gamer kids out here. Ain't no way in the world. My point is, ain't no way in the world you and your kids gonna act like animals, like gamer animals, like animals in a game, in a video game. They was acting like animals in a video game, wasn't they? Okay, you can't act like animals in a video game and then think we gonna acknowledge you and your kids' humanity. It doesn't work like that, buddy. Now welcome to the real world, the spiritual world. That some street people and ghetto people ain't even used to, where God ain't even on your side with your children. See, that's what ghetto people are not used to. Nope, God ain't backing you. Because you came out here using children, weaponizing children, accusing people, playing with God's people, causing all these problems. And ain't no way in the world anybody with spiritual common sense gonna think they gonna be able to come up above that. Nope, you ain't gonna be able to come up above it. Meaning you and your children is going to suffer. That's what's gonna happen. That's what's gonna happen. And now the body of Christ is starting to realize that. It's not that we want it to happen. It's just, how do I put it? It's just spiritual common sense. It's spiritual reciprocity. It's spiritual reap what you sow, whether we want it to happen or not. At this point, any fool can see that all the stuff they done, they have to reap what they sow. Whether I want it to happen, whether I'm malicious about it happening, whether I'm a hateful person about it happening, it has a life of itself, reciprocity, if that makes sense. Karma or reap what you sow process. It has a life in itself. I have nothing to do with the life of the life of reap what you sow. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, bro. You can't come out here on clown time talking about some children and playing around with us with these children and then think nothing ain't gonna happen to them. Weaponizing children, using them as weapons, and we supposed to be humble. It don't matter. It's still repercussions are still gonna come outside of us anyway, even if we humble. Even if we humble, repercussions is still gonna come. We could be humble, we could be nice, it's still gonna happen. That's what I'm trying to show you. It is outside of us at this point. I'm pretty sure it is. It's outside of us, which means no matter how we carry ourselves, no matter what we want to happen, no matter if we wishing it that it happen, it's still gonna happen because it's spiritual justice. It's spiritual reciprocity. That's where we're at today. As of what time is it? August 8th, 2026, 10:02 p.m. Right? It's gotta happen. It's gotta happen. It's gotta happen. You know what I'm saying? Do we gotta obsess over it? Do we gotta get up out our bed and obsess over it every single second of the day? I'm not one of those people anyway. But there are people out there, and I challenge you to not obsess over this. Still live your life, still have fun, still have fun with your family and have good times with your family, enjoy your summer and everything like that, but just set it in stone. That's why declaring war is so important, because once you declare war, you walk away. You begin to play your position and progress in your position as a soldier, but you enjoy life, you enjoy your family, and you spend time with your family. You can't let the devil come in, because these people are miserable. You know what I'm saying? You can't share in that misery. You know what I'm saying? If you're blessed enough to have your family around you and good people around you, enjoy your family while we have time left, right? Don't be down in the dumps for what other people did and what the Americans did. Don't even worry about what they're going through as Americans. They got to go through it, bro. They have to go through it. While they go through it, we enjoy our lives. We spend time with our loved ones and family, and that's it, man. We ain't sitting up worried about what somebody else is going to go through, and they put themselves in this situation with all this gang stalking. They put themselves, see what I'm saying? They put themselves in that situation. Now imagine me sitting up worried about it, and they ain't have no love for us anyway. They ain't care about us anyway. Imagine me now. That's all you got to do. Back to putting yourself in my shoes. That's how you going to have compassion. Ain't no way in the world I'm going to sit up and obsess and worry about these people and lose sleep. I ain't losing no sleep about these people and what they going through, because they shouldn't have played with us. They played with more than one person. If you think it's just me, they play with they play with the whole Christian community. That's how you need to hear it. The most famous people, they probably not literally every Christian in America, but the most prominent preachers, I'm pretty sure they've been gang stalked at some point. If it's not still going on, whole infrastructures, social, physical, human infrastructures of Christian communities, all being gang stalked, all kind of people being gang stalked. See, some people don't want to talk about it. You know what I mean? And some people have this idea that, they don't want to continue talking about something that's negative and continue to go on, but we have to communicate to make people aware and to make people feel and let people see that they're not alone, right? They're not going through it on their own. You know what I'm saying? So you got to use wisdom, okay? I could be positive and not speak about what's going on and try to cancel it like that, where I'm not talking on it, right? I understand a lot of Christians like in America are like that, but you would do so much good to share your experience with these gang stalkers, man, so it's more real to the real Christian community. It needs to be real to these Christians, where they can start using their spiritual weapons towards these people. I can show you in the Bible where God's people went to war with physical human beings. You're using spiritual weapons. How is it wrong? But if you're not aware of them being the enemy, you ain't gonna even point your weapons. The hardest task right now for me to do is to get real spiritual people to point their weapons towards the Americans. Spiritual weapons. Only spiritual weapons. You got to point them towards these people, fast and seek the Lord and pray concerning these people to get what they deserve, right? It's the hardest task to get people to do that, because they might feel it's illegal spiritually, like it's not the right spirit, it's not carrying the right. You can't think like that. We're in a time of complete war, right? While we trying to enjoy our life and everything, but the whole atmosphere is these bugged out young people in their 20s and 30s. See, if you think about the old America, they had respect for Christians. You got to think about, well, enough time done went by where it's a whole nother young, crazy generation out here that's lesbians, gay, witchcraft, and all of that. See, when you realize that, you're going to see how it is happening, how people would even be doing that, because it's a younger generation. And they the ones, and when you understand the younger generation, you're going to realize gang stalking will be easy for our present generation of young people. Of course. That's why young people don't have no problem with believing it. They can see how evil the people are. Young people are. The whole American community is. And they the ones leading the pack, leading older people to think like in terms of craziness against Christians and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So you just gotta understand You know what I'm saying? You gotta come to understand. Don't assume nothing. Just sit back. This is wealth of knowledge. This is from 12 years of just watching all this stuff happen. I ain't know about this stuff overnight. I didn't pull it together overnight. It took me years to realize, like building a puzzle. You know how you put all the pieces together, and you can, before you can, to see the whole picture. It took me years to put all these puzzle pieces together and see the whole picture of gang stalking and what they've been doing. It took me years. Okay? This is wealth of knowledge where you ain't even got to go through this for years and years and years. You know what I'm saying? I'm just giving you wealth of knowledge. How they gang stalk us in public, at the stores and everything. The telepath networks. How they watching you and under surveillance in your mind. Where you have a thought to go to the store, and then they already there because they've been watching your mind. They got people in your neighborhood that intentionally, if you high ranking, they got people in your neighborhood that got you under surveillance, trying to use witchcraft against you. They all around you.